The Philadelphia Eagles select Devontae Smith, wide receiver, Alabama.
What is up, everybody? What is going on? It is Dives, Mr. Crockpot on Twitter. Today, we are doing a 3-round Eagles mock. If you guys are new to the channel, smash that subscribe button. Hit the like button if you love the NFL draft. I've got a special guest today, but before we jump into that, my co-host, he is Rob Lange right there at Philly_Madness. What's up, Rob?
What's going on? I know that this is an Eagles draft, but I wanted to wear, the clothes of somebody who's not afraid to make their team better and go for it. So I decided to, repping the Fightins a little bit more today.
Love it, man. And then we've got my man, the host of Chalk Talk at @half_TPL. Make sure you check that podcast out here at the Painted Lines. What's up, Shane?
I just quote tweeted this out and I said, come hang out with me. And then it was just like a flashback to high school where I just wanted people to hang out with me and nobody would. So now I'm just in a bad mental space, but I'm glad to be here. We'll talk the draft. We'll get me over my lack of popularity in high school.
Quentin says you might have to add Maxie to that intro. I'm pretty sure he's in that. Is he not in that?
No.
Matisse is in that. It's Matisse. Yeah. I think it is well-deserved. Tyrese Maxey needs to be in this intro. Absolutely. Guys, if you're watching us live, comment like Quentin there. Drop your just opinions on all of these selections. Again, trades are allowed. So I'm going to throw it to Shane. He is going to lead off. This is via the Draft Network. He's going to share his screen. And when he's ready to make his selection, he'll do a cue. I'll play the music. And then we'll roll on all throughout, 3 rounds, and then we'll see kind of whose draft is the best, I guess. So, Shane, go ahead.
All right, I'm glad I get to go first here because when I brought Dives onto Chalk Talk and we did a mock draft, he kept taking the guys I wanted to take, and I didn't want to copy him, so I ended up with a worse draft than he did. But don't tell him I said that. So my draft, I already rolled it through a few picks here. Aiden Hutchinson off the board, number 1. Kyle Hamilton, 2. My guy Malik Willis comes off the board at number 8 to the Falcons, which a lot of interesting quarterback dynamics in this draft now with all the moves in the offseason. But I have paused the draft at number 10 with the Jets on the clock because I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to offer a trade to the Jets. So I'm going to offer them. I want to jump up from number 15 to number 10. I'm going to offer them a 4th-round pick and see if they'll take it here.
Woo.
And they did. They took my offer. And so I am ready to make our selection. Dives, I think you've got a little. And with the 10th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Ahmed Sauce Gardner out of Cincinnati.
Sauce, baby.
The Eagles desperately need cornerback help. I think he'd be a great pick for the Eagles. He's not going to be there at 15. I don't know if he'll still be there at 10. I think he's CB1 in the draft. Gives him somebody to pair with Darius Slay on the outside. And with that trio of Slay, Sauce, and Avonte Maddox, the Eagles have a really good cornerback group that you could be excited about.
Starting off on fire, man. And now Rob is up. Shane, you got Rob?
Yeah, sorry, guys. Just to let everybody know, I had to go to the phone today, so I don't have the skill set of the computer. So Shane's helping me out here.
So if Rob's draft gets too good, I might misclick a punter in the 2nd round, and we'll just deal with it. So I'm going to roll this here, Rob. You just tell me if you want me to pause it.
Let's roll it out.
Kyle Hamilton falls to 7.
All right, so you have an offer from the Steelers. They want to move from 20 to 15, and they're willing to give you a 7th this year and a 4th next year.
No, I'm going to decline that one.
Looks like you also got an offer from the Saints. They'll give you a 5th to move up from 18, and the Chiefs will give you a 3rd and a 4th to move up from 29. Any of that interest you?
No, I'm going to stay where I'm at. If I trade a pick, it's going to be 19. I like this back-to-back selection here, the 15 and 16. And look, this was a situation that I didn't want to have happen in this draft. Because right before we went on air, we had this conversation. And over the course of the last week and a half, watching a little bit of stuff that's out there online, watching the pro days, I've made it no secret that I'm kind of off the Jalen Hurts bandwagon. And if a guy like Malik Willis was to fall to 15, I don't care what any real, analyst out there says. Schefter said the Eagles aren't in on the. To be honest with you, I find Adam Schefter to be a Howie Roseman mouthpiece anymore. I think he just gives you what Howie tells. Like, that's how he's formed the relationship with the Eagles. So I don't buy that the Eagles aren't in on any of these quarterbacks. And if Malik Willis is staring them straight in the face when they come up to pick 15, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that they're not going to take him. However, because it's my draft and not the Eagles, I am going to take him because, God damn it, I saw that pass. So before I make my pick dives, the Eagles are going to shock the nation. And at 15, they're taking Malik Willis.
Oh, my God.
And for the 57th consecutive year, what it feels like, we'll have a QB controversy. Listen, the guy's got some raw talent. I know that he's not the smartest guy, and there's going to be bumps in the road. But to me, the upside with Malik Willis is a head and shoulders above what your upside is with Jalen Hurts. And it's tough for me to, if he falls, now I don't know if he will with all the movement we've seen, but if he were to fall, there's not a chance in my belief that the Eagles don't at least consider this move.
Love it. I love it, man. We're starting on fire. So just to recap, Mark, Shane traded up for Sauce to the 10th pick there. And then my man Rob took Malik Willis at pick number 15.
People are ready to kill me.
So now we've got Mark joining. He is the host of Chalk Talk. He does the Tough Cover podcast here as well as Fox Sports The Gambler. The guy does so much I don't even know anymore.
He's won me a lot of money over the last week. I gotta
been a good week.
Man, Mark Henry. I've been going with him. I've been rolling with him all the way through, and it was a great first weekend for me.
It was a good weekend on the Tough Cover on the Painted Lines and at Fox Sports The Gambler, throwing up the U from Miami,
right.
But throwing up that U. But yeah, I love what Shane did. And by the way, I love Malik Willis. I mean, I've been bullish on Malik Willis's talent for a while, but I get I like Pickett too, the guy that we allegedly took out to dinner. But I get, there's so many defensive guys in this draft that I like so much. Am I up or are you up, Dives? Or
it doesn't matter. You can go. Okay. I'll go on. Yeah.
All right. So let me throw up my screen right here, and we'll get. Let me zoom real quick. Sorry that I'm feel like I'm late to class here, but so we've got we're gonna start it off. The couple names that I'll be looking at in terms of maybe wanting to move up. One just went, so there we go. I'll pause real quick just to make sure Sauce isn't gone. All right, I think I'm going to do the same thing as Shane here. Shane stole my thunder, getting to do it first.
Yeah, you've been high on Sauce for months.
Yeah, so my thing's being slow here. But so I'm going to be trading with the New York Jets here. And you're absolutely right. I've been high on Sauce for months. This has been the guy that, since I've started really thinking about, the fact that we have, a million picks here. Sauce Gardner's been the guy ever since the middle of the college football season. You look at the numbers of the receivers that are going against him. The amount of snaps he played without allowing a touchdown, it's some of the craziest numbers I've ever seen. And he's someone where it goes beyond the numbers. Like, it is someone where it jumps right off the tape where it's like, oh, that's the guy that's going in the top 20. That's why it was so shocking to me at the start of this process when it was like, oh, this guy's going to be ranked in the 20s and he'll definitely be there for us at 15. It's not surprising to me at all. So I just traded a 4th round pick to move up. Dobbs, hit that music. And I'll be copying my Chalk Talk co-host Shane and taking Ahmad Sauce Gardner.
Oh, all right.
My God.
All right. So that means I am finally on the clock. Sauce goes twice. Malik Willis to Rob. Here's my board. Let's start for the sake of time. Let's just get this rolling here. Hutch, number 1. Hamilton, number 2. Tibbs to the New York Giants, which I don't want to happen at all. Malik Willis there to the Falcons. We've been seeing that a lot. Trey Walker to the Jets. I'm looking at my board. I mean, I love the trade up for Ahmad Sauce Gardner. I mean, that is a terrific trade. But for the sake of like doing things differently, let's kind of, there you go. Sauce goes to Washington.
Isn't that Howie Roseman's mantra? For the sake of doing things differently.
Pretty much. So I'm sitting here at number 15. I'm gonna go. Let's go a little different today. I'm going to add a wide receiver to this group. Clearly, the Eagles struck out here, getting a top name free agent at wide receiver. I'm not going to go Drake London either. I'm going to go Jameson Williams for the Philadelphia Eagles. Hold on. Let's do this thing. With the 15th pick, the Philadelphia Eagles select Jameson Williams. Truly one of the biggest home run hitters in this draft. A guy that can put pressure on a defense, play in the slot, play on the outside, put him anywhere you want. The dude is a great route runner, amazing speed, amazing after the catch. Jameson Williams is my selection here. I'm getting Jalen Hurts some help here at wide receiver. I'm going to make that official. With that being said, Shane, you are on the clock.
All right, well, the Kansas City Chiefs called me up on the phone and said, hey, we just traded our best wide receiver, and we really want Garrett Wilson. We'd love to move up to pick 16 to get him. And so they offered me 2 first-round picks, 29 and 30 for 16 and my 5th rounder. I called them. We're going to see if they'll take it. And they did. So I'm trading back. Now we're going to have 4 first-round picks in this draft because why the heck not? So you want me to go ahead and make my pick here at 19?
Pick number 19.
Oh, well, I got to look at it for just a second. Okay, so 19 here. George Karlaftis is still on the board. Love Karlaftis. The Eagles need an edge. He is not a guy that should fall this far. I'm going to take him here before Mark can take him, so at least he's got to copy me again if he wants to. Karlaftis is a guy that was considered top 5 for a while, and he's fallen for a reason, but not this far. The slide stops here. He's going to go to Philadelphia at pick 19.
All right. Karlaftis to Shane, which means
right.
Rob, you're up.
So, Rob, you're up at 16 now.
So I'm up at 16 now, and now I go to where I think the Eagles have got to go heavy on this side of the ball. Listen, I love Hassan Reddick, and I know that they're listing him as a linebacker, but they let Alex Singleton walk, which is fine. But to me, it's now time to break a streak of many, 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 many years. And you've got to take a linebacker, in my opinion, in this first round. And there's a couple that you could play with. All right. But you know what? I'm going to hold off because now that I can actually see a little bit, the linebacker's coming. He's coming at 19. Yes, the 76ers. Yes, the Eagles brought back Fletcher Cox. But I think it's very clear and evident that they're looking for a change of the guard at that defensive tackle position. And there's a guy listen, you guys remember my whole thing about these SEC schools, right? And these schools that are in the national championship game. And the Eagles have to start looking at these schools for some of these guys. So with my pick here at 16, because I see him sitting there, and he may not be the name people are getting from Georgia, but Dives, you can hit the tone here.
All right.
But I'm going to go with the defensive tackle, Devontae Wyatt. This dude is a freak. He's a monster, but his speed is like, it comes out of nowhere. And I think imagine, all right, Fletcher Cox is here for one more year, but Hargrave, Fletcher, Wyatt, Milton, Williams. I mean, they're building. Look, they built from the lines, right? If there's a guy like that from Georgia, from one of the best defenses we've seen in a long time, the Eagles need to snatch that up. And I think that re-signing Fletcher Cox does not mean they wouldn't draft a D tackle this high, especially one of the caliber of Devontae Wyatt.
Devontae Wyatt to Rob. Watching his tape is so fun. Like the guy is 300 plus pounds and he spies quarterbacks. What are we doing? It's hilarious.
It's crazy.
Right. Mark, you're up, man.
So I I got an offer and then I lost it here. So I'm trying to that's what I'm working on here. I like this offer from New Orleans. No, you know what? Whatever. It's a 3rd round pick. I'll bypass it. I'll make the pick.
They hung up on you.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. They offered me 18 and a 3rd round pick. I would do it to move back. But you know what? He shouldn't be there anyway. And I won't game the system. I'm going to copy Shane again. I'm sorry. I'm taking George Karlaftis. My big boards have been out for a long time now, and I had Sauce in my top 3. I've had Karlaftis in my top 5 for as long as I've been making big boards this year. I think that a lot of the people that are looking at Karlaftis and they're looking at his sack production, I think you're missing the point because he didn't just play 1 year at college. You can go back, if you want sack production, you can look at his freshman year when he first arrived at Purdue, when he was tearing quarterbacks apart and tearing running backs away from any hope of running inside and outside. I just think he's the type of guy who can do just about everything on the defensive line, where he can get after the passer, he can bull rush, he can stop the run. I don't understand how this guy's not a top 5 pick, at least not a top 10 pick. So to get him at 16, even though I should have been able to trade down 2 picks here and get him at 18, I couldn't be happier. So Dives, hit that music. I mean, I kind of already did it, but so give me George Karlaftis, defensive end out of Purdue.
All right, Karlaftis to Mark.
I can't wait to take who Mark's going to take again.
Seriously. Oh.
All right, I am on the board here. There we go. I'm trading back for the sake of just doing things differently. We're trading way back. Shane traded with the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to trade back with the New York Jets here. I'm going to give them my 1st round pick and a 5th round pick, and I'm taking all 3 of their next 3 picks here. Rounds 2, both 2 2nd round picks, and a 3rd round pick. Let's see if they accept it. They do. And that being said, I'm going to pause the draft. Should I just make my selection here, or should I just do it? Yeah, I'm going to look at the next biggest position of need for the Eagles. For me, he is number 1 on my board at this position. And how he breaks the cycle here, I'm going with Devin Lloyd, linebacker out of Utah with pick. Wait. There it is. Pick number 15 goes Devin Lloyd out of Utah for the Philadelphia Eagles. I finally get I think Eagles fans are just going to be absolutely in love with him. Devin Lloyd can do it all, literally do it all. He can get to the quarterback. He can stop the run. He can drop back in coverage. He's got great size, great speed, just an instant impact player for Jonathan Gannon. So that is my selection. And Shane, you're on the clock.
All right, I'm sitting here at 29. Devin Lloyd is on the board. Lewis Seen is on the board. David Ajabo is on the board. He had the Achilles injury. So he's falling down boards. Nakobe Dean is still here. So I've made my decision. I know who we're going to select. Dibes, if you want to hit the music here.
All right.
At 29, the Eagles are going to add a playmaker on the offensive side of the ball. They're going to select Treylon Burks, the wide receiver out of Arkansas. When we did our wide receiver rankings, he was my wide receiver 1 in the class. Tremendous athleticism. He's got some work to do at route running, but I trust the Eagles can develop that. They just need an athletic guy. They need somebody they can put out there, get Jalen Reagor off the field, and give Hurts another weapon. And I think that Burks is that for them. So that's my pick at 29. I'm also up at 30, but we'll pivot over here to Rob, who is sitting at pick 19. So, Rob, what are we doing here?
So
Can he pick it?
Yeah, I'm just taking all the quarterbacks. No.
QB factory.
I mean, it would fit Howie's mold, right? But look, I kind of am going to follow Dibes here a little bit. I think if there was ever a year the Eagles were going to break this linebacker streak, it's going to be this year where they have 3 first-round picks to kind of mess around with. And Devin Lloyd does everything you want from that linebacker position. And I think I didn't love Jonathan Gannon last year, but I do believe he did not have the guys he needed in specific positions to maybe run exactly what it is that he wanted to do. And I think one of those positions was that linebacker position. So Dives hit the sound. Did it go off? I can't hear anything.
Oh, Dives is muted.
Oh, Dives is muted, so nobody heard it.
My bad. Here we go.
The Eagles make the Delaware Valley jump for joy at pick 19 and select Devin Lloyd, linebacker out of Utah. And finally, we have a game changer at the linebacker position.
Love it. Mark, where are you going?
So I already made a move while we were sitting here to make it a little to streamline things a little bit. I traded down one pick from 19 to 20 with Pittsburgh, who gave me a 4th. And then now I'm going to flip back again here with Green Bay. I'm going to try to get 22 and 28. I'm giving up 20 and 51 and a 5th round pick here. So moving back 2 picks and then moving up my 2nd to 28. So sending that offer. And they accepted it. So we're going to let it roll for 2 more picks here. Decline. Oh, and one of the players that I was looking at went. So I'm happy, but I'm still happy I picked up that 28th pick.
And he's going to take Treylon Burks.
No, I'm gonna take Nakobe Dean here. I'm also sticking with that theme of linebackers. I was hoping to get Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd's higher on my list. And, you know, it's funny because, Rob, you mentioned the thing about preferring SEC guys and preferring Georgia and Bama type defensive players. And I agree, but I also think that sometimes there's a little bit of bias that goes the other way. And I think Devin Lloyd's the better prospect than Nakobe. So it's funny that I just drafted Nakobe Dean in this thing, and I'm going to talk about why I think another player is better than him. But I think that a lot of people are just wanting Nakobe Dean more because they watched him play on national TV a couple times. But if you haven't watched Devin Lloyd play, that guy's unbelievable. He's taller than Dean. He had more sacks, tackles, more tackles for loss, more interceptions. I would take Devin Lloyd. He's like top 5 probably on my Eagles wish list, but Nakobe Dean's in the top 10. So getting him at 22 after moving back a couple times, I'm still pretty happy with that. And Nakobe Dean's the type of guy who maybe I'm underrating the impact he had at Georgia, because a little bit of what I guess why I'm not quite as high on him to put him over Lloyd is because I think the talent that was around him at Georgia allowed him to really freelance and really do a lot of things that I don't know if we'll get to do in the NFL. But I kind of said the same things about Parsons from Penn State, and then look how he turned out, completely different player. But I think Nakobe Dean is the type of guy who there's a chance he could come in right away and transform a defense. And I would love to see an Eagles defense transformed. Maybe he could be our Optimus Prime out there. But I'll take Nakobe Dean here at 22, and I'll have another pick coming up here at 28. I jumped the gun on the music. I'm shooting 50-50 here on remembering whether or not to play the music, but I'm happy with where I'm at with Gardner, Dean, and Karlaftis.
Man, crushing it. Absolutely crushing it. All right, I am on the clock here. I'm looking at the way my board. I have a lot of picks coming up here in the 2nd and 3rd rounds due to some trade backs. I'm sitting at pick 33, and I'm going to do a slight trade up, I think. No, let's just see what happens. Nakobe Dean there goes to Jacksonville, Desmond Ridder. All right, so I'm sitting here. I've got picks 35 and 38. Is it all right if I just knock these 2 out?
Yeah.
So we're here. For me, I will go. They've got 2 safeties here that I'm really high on for pick number 35. Lewis Cine out of Georgia and Jaquan Brisker out of Penn State. Both are absolute beasts. I think this is a really good spot and good value for where they would be selected. I actually have Jaquan Brisker rated higher than Lewis Cine, and that is going to be my selection here. I think he's a terrific talent. And I'm going to let this roll to pick number 38 here.
I hope you're right, because Lewis Cine just ended up in the division with the Giants.
And what's funny about that is the guy I was actually looking at here as my cornerback was Tariq Woolen, who just went to the Houston Texans, one of the kind of combine winners here. So I'm sitting here at pick number 38. Ajabo's just kind of chilling there. The fall is real. He's dealing with that Achilles injury, I believe.
Achilles injury in the 2nd round from a guy who was a 1st round grade. Is it not a lock that the Eagles take him in the second?
All right, so I'm sitting here. I'm looking at my draft board. I haven't addressed the defensive line at all, and that really bothers me. Where did you go, Mark? Did you go Abikidi? Did I read that wrong? Or Nakobe Dean? You went Nakobe Dean.
I went Nakobe Dean, yeah.
All right, so I've already got my linebacker. I've got my safety. I'm going to just take the best cornerback on the board, and that is Roger McCreary here, who I think is a first-round talent, but I need to address the cornerback position. That is my selection. I'll pause. All right, Shade, you're up.
All right, so I'm back up. I don't really want to make 4 first-round picks. That's a lot of fifth-year options in 1 year, so I'm going to call up the Jets. Offering them pick 30 and a 6th rounder for pick 35 and a 3rd rounder. So move back a couple spots, move up from a 6th to a 3rd, and they're going to take it. I'm not interested in their trades. Not interested in their trades either. Stop offering me trades. So I'm sitting at pick 35. And so far I've addressed corner, edge, wide receiver. David Ajabo is not an option for me. If he were, I'm not going to lie, I'd be really tempted to take him here. But I've still got Nakobe Dean on the board. Jaquan Brisker is on the board. So I've got 2 safeties I really like that are still left. If I look at linebacker, there's some guys in here that I still like. Perion Winfrey on the interior defensive line, who's also a really intriguing pick. I don't pick again until the 50s. It's a tough call. I think I'm gonna go with Winfrey. We know Cox is back on a 1-year deal. I don't think Cox is going to be around very long after that. You've got Javon Hargrave, maybe Milton Williams, but they like to have rotation at this position all along the defensive line. So Winfrey is a guy who I think gives you a lot of that, especially as an interior pass rusher, which is something the Eagles really like. So I'm going to go Perion Winfrey at pick 35. And we'll flip it over here to Rob. So, Rob, you are up. You are at pick 51.
So I am at pick 51. I have not addressed the defensive backfield at all, which, is a problem. So I got to look to see what we have available from the corners and the safeties here. Corners first. This is where you guys are better than I am when it gets to this area of the draft. How about in the safety realm? The Eagles could go so many different ways, and I think they really got to be careful about trying to draft for need. It's never been their thing. So go back to best available, and I'm going to do something that I think, once again, people are going to be like wanting to punch me in the face if I'm running the Eagles, because I've already taken a quarterback, which a lot of people think we have. But now I want to take a position that people probably think we have again. And frankly, I don't think we have. And we're a team that is – me and Dives had this conversation the other day. The Eagles became a run-first team last year, did they not? So I know you have Miles Sanders, but the guy hasn't been able to stay healthy. There's no Jordan Howard. I know Boston Scott's there. I know Gainwell's there, but they're different type of guys. So what I'm going to do is take the best running back available. According to Draft Network, you guys may disagree. You may say it's Isaiah Spiller, but Dodge, if you hit the music.
Oh, I forgot to do mine as well.
Now, I'm going to take from Michigan State, Kenneth Walker III. Here's what this is a pick, once again, the Eagles love to do. It may not be the pick for this year because Miles Sanders is there, but I don't think they're re-signing him. I think this is it. I think Miles is going at this. So you might as well get the running back this year. From listening to you guys, there's some really good running backs in this draft, so address it now. Don't wait. And I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker III.
Kenneth Walker to Rob. By the way, thank you, Squidward Tentacles, man. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, drop them now. We'll talk about it right now. But appreciate the donation here. Mark, you are on the clock, man.
So I did move back obviously already to get to this 28th pick with Green Bay. I'm going to move back again here. There's 2 receivers on the board still with Olave and Burks that I really like. I'm going to take a chance here that in the next 3 picks, they both won't go. So I'm trading my 1st and 6th for Cincinnati's 1st and 3rd. So we're going to send it over to pick up an extra 3rd round pick here, and they accept it. So let's hope. Okay, it went well. We're still all right. So we're gonna go, and you know what? Let's see if we can move back 2 more picks to get rid of a 5th-year option. Let's see if we can get that 33rd pick.
Oh boy,
I won't take much. You know, what are we doing, Jacksonville? You're not gonna give anything. All right, so we won't do that, and we're gonna take Chris Olave, wide receiver out of Ohio State. Yeah, there's the music. Chris Olave. It might not be like the perfect fit, and I understand why some people would look at Burks or London as the ideal fit next to a guy like Devontae Smith. But Chris Olave is the type of guy who's going to step right in and be productive with the amount of production he had at Ohio State with different quarterbacks who all seem to trust him in his years there. I know some people are going to look at him and say, oh, you know, he was the 3rd most productive receiver at Ohio State last year. I don't think that's necessarily fair because Jackson Smith-Njigba, who's going to be the top receiver next year, is special. And I look at Chris Olave as a better prospect than Garrett Wilson. He's a guy that pops off of the screen more to me. He's an absolute touchdown machine, and I think he's going to be the same way at the next level. For a team like the Eagles that's, reportedly been in on so many veteran receivers, and I've heard friends of mine and people in the Eagles community complain that no one's going to come here with Jalen Hurts and all this stuff, and veteran receivers aren't going to come here. I'm not saying Chris Olave is a veteran receiver, but I think more than some of the other receivers we're looking at in the class, I think this is a guy who can fit right in and produce at a high level right away in the NFL, which isn't saying anything that crazy because you look at recent years, the receiver position's been the one that honestly has become the most easily translatable from college to the NFL. We've seen so much success. Guys like Jamar Chase, guys like Jalen Waddle, guys like Justin Jefferson. I'm not saying Chris Olave is like those guys. There's a reason I just got him at the 31st pick. There are drawbacks, but I think he's extremely NFL ready, and I think that he'd be a good fit here with the Eagles.
All right. Shane has to go soon. So for the sake of time, I'm just going to make my pick right here. Eagles need to address the interior defensive line. I'm going with a guy that is a little bit of a project, but he's a huge, huge talent. Maybe, just maybe, the Eagles could untap some of that potential. I'm going DeMarvin Leal out of Texas A&M for the Philadelphia Eagles. Just an elite talent, but we'll definitely need some seasoning here. So why don't you, Shane, just kind of run through your next few picks here?
At one point, Leal was considered a top 15 pick. It's kind of crazy how that changes. Okay, let me throw mine up here. I am up at 38. Nakobe Dean's still there. The Eagles need a linebacker. The fit's too good. We don't take a first-round linebacker, but we get a guy that a lot of people thought could be a first-round linebacker, and that's going to do wonders for the Eagles' defense. So I don't think I pick again for a little bit, so let me flip over here to Rob. Yeah, I come up again at 69. So
where am I at here?
It looks like you're at 83. It paused on a trade or something.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to make the picks at this point.
Okay, you're at pick 83. Carson Strong's still there if you want another quarterback.
If I want another quarterback, I could go that route, yes. A couple wide receivers. But, hey, there's another – well, you know what? Actually, do me a favor. Let me look at the corners again because it's now the 3rd round that I haven't addressed the defensive backfield. By the way, if the Eagles don't address the defensive backfield before now, I'm going to be pissed off. So I suck, and it's just that simple. All right. I love when there's a guy listed as from the NCAA. He don't even have a school. That's that can't be.
NCAA Division I.
Good for him.
Fayetteville State.
Good for that guy. I almost want to pick him just because of it. Screw it. Go back. I'm just going to mess around here. I'm going to go best play. They always tell you we're only taking best players available. There's a need for another tight end on this team. Don't pretend that there's not. There's a need for another tight end on this team. Don't be surprised to see the Eagles dip into that well early. You got quite a few on the board right now. I think they could go with the kid from Washington. So if you want to hit the button, I see Cade Otton being a possible pick for them. There's no Zach Ertz, it's just Dallas Goedert. But, I mean, Nick Sirianni is Mr. 12 personnel, is he not? So, I feel like they need to address that position. So there it is. Cade Otton will be the pick. I'm done. My draft sucks, but it's okay. I'll be better the next time.
That's it on Rob's.
All right, I'm done. That was fast. Shane, you want to go ahead?
All right, so I'm on the board at 69. Let me look here. Okay, so I've got a corner, an edge, a wide receiver, interior defensive line, and a linebacker. I'm going to go here at 69. We know Jason Kelce. We've been like eulogizing Jason Kelce's career for years now, and he keeps coming back. But eventually, the dude's going to retire. The Eagles always can use help on the interior offensive line. Jeff Stoutland can develop these guys like nobody else. So I'm going to go to Memphis and get Dylan Parham. He's a versatile interior offensive lineman. You can get him. You can get Isaac Seumalo in a room, and you can figure out who's going to be a center and a guard down the road. And I think you're going to be pretty happy with the outcome. So Dylan Parham out of Memphis is going to be my pick at 69. All right. Does anybody else want to go, or you want me to keep going here?
You finish it out. Yeah, finish it off.
Okay. 83. What pick? Is this my last pick? Okay, this is my last pick. Let me scroll through here. There's your guy, Fedarian Mathis, but I've already taken an interior defensive lineman. James Cook is a little bit of a redundancy.
Fedarian Mathis and Perion Winfrey, I've confused in my head about 15 times already. Which one's Oklahoma and which one's Alabama? I keep forgetting in my head. Mathis is Bama, right?
Yeah. Winfrey is Oklahoma. That's why Winfrey is in my draft. I'm not honestly seeing anybody that I love right here at this spot. I could still use what's left at linebacker. I could talk myself into another linebacker. And
maybe. Squidward Tentacle says, "Take the punter."
Take the punt. I want a punt. He got on to me in a couple of my mock drafts because I didn't take a punter. But this is the third round, not the sixth round. I can't be taking a punter here.
Hey, man, that punter stunk to end the year last year. We do need a punter.
What happened?
That was crazy. He had like the Markel Fultz streak of punters. He just forgot how to kick.
All right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take James Cook, running back out of Georgia. Really good third down back, which we kind of have in Gainwell, if you believe in Gainwell, which I do. Maybe it's a little redundant. Maybe he develops into more of a three-down guy. He's got that NFL pedigree, Dalvin Cook's brother. Played in the SEC. I'll take a flyer there in the third round on a running back. So my draft ends up Sauce Gardner, George Karlaftis, Treylon Burks, Perion Winfrey, Nakobe Dean, Dylan Parham, and James Cook. And then obviously I took that punter, like in the sixth round. And Rob walks away with Malik Willis, Devontae Wyatt, Devin Lloyd, Kenneth Walker III, and Cade Otton. Is that how you say his last name? I don't know how you say his name.
Yeah, Cade Otton. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Should Mark, do you want or Shane, do you want to just recap your draft, or are you good?
Sure. So yeah, trading up to get Sauce. I would love that move. I think the Eagles need that presence on the outside. He's going to step in and be your CB2 next year. Stayed at 19 with George Karlaftis, a guy that probably fell further than he should here. He'll be in that rotation. He's not going to start, but the Eagles don't really view it that way. He's going to rotate with you. Treylon Burks is immediately going to be my wide receiver too. Perion Winfrey is going to be another rotational piece on that defensive front. So you get two rotational pieces there. You get a starting linebacker in Nakobe Dean, and then you get a couple of depth players. So overall, I really like the draft. There's no way that you could work the trades the way that we just did with real NFL GMs. I mean, there's no way that I'm getting both of those picks from the Chiefs and then both of those picks from the Jets. But the system allows it, so I'm going to work the system in this draft, and I would love this.
All right. So, Mark, do you want to finish yours out?
Yeah, I just did something crazy. I traded up here. I didn't have a second round pick because I made that move, and I made 4 first round picks, but I moved up from 83 to 72 using a 7th round pick. And, I feel like I filled all the needs I have. I've got a corner, got an edge, got a linebacker, got a receiver. So I'm willing to get crazy. I've got the guy in my top 20 for the reason. Give me Carson Strong. I don't care. It's a QB factory where I'm buying into the Howie mantra. But it's more so just because I think that he's the best player on the board by far at this point. And he's the guy that I think does project as a long-term starter, a quarterback. He's got the best arm in the class. And, I'm surprised that he hasn't risen in the pre-draft process. And I do think that there is concerns about his knees. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I'm not privy to his medical info. So, but I think that as long as he's healthy, I think he's absolutely a top 3 quarterback prospect in this draft class. And I would rather have him than Ritter or Howell or Corral. So getting him in the 3rd round here would be an absolute steal. And we're just going to let it ride until 95 here.
I almost took him at 83 on mine.
Yeah, I actually saw him popping up on your screen, and I was like, oh, he's going to do it.
I thought about it, and the reason I didn't is just because he would be so much different of a quarterback stylistically than Hurts. But it'd be a good value pick there for sure.
He's not even someone. I don't think he'd be ready to be a backup right now. I think if you had him, you'd have to roster 3 quarterbacks, and hopefully you'd keep Minshew. He's strictly a project in terms of how I would view him here as a 3rd round pick. And I think when you have the amount of firsts that we do, I think you can make a decision like that. And this one, I wanted Breece Hall. He just went like a pick before me. But I don't care what happened. I'm taking 1 homer pick. I'm taking Kyren Williams here at 95. The guy's the best blocking running back prospect I've ever seen. He had like the worst combine in the history of the combine. But the guy, I mean, you can watch his tape and you tell me he runs like a 4.78 or whatever he ran in the combine. The guy is faster on tape than he is at the combine. So I fully believe in Kyren Williams' talent, and I'll take a little bit of a homer pick from Notre Dame. So I did move up at 10 to get Sauce Gardner. I stuck at 16 to take George Karlaftis. At 22, I traded down and I got Nakobe Dean. At 31, I took wide receiver Chris Olave. At 72 in the 3rd round, I traded up a little bit to get Carson Strong. And then at 95, I took Kyren Williams, running back at Notre Dame.
All right, I'm going to throw my board here real quick just to wrap it up.
Mark, I joked on our Chalk Talk running back ranking podcast that you boycotted that podcast because of how bad Kyron's combine was.
It's exactly what happened. If Kyren Williams had a good combine and he was rising, there's no way I would have missed that podcast.
Yeah.
But by the way, someone had a comment here. Rufus Rogers says, I win. That's nice. Thanks, Rufus. But Squidward Tentacles says Matt Ariza is worth, I don't know how to say his name, Ariza. I will just say, if you're going to watch some clips of any punter of all time, watch some Matt Ariza clips from San Diego State. This guy was electric. This guy was an electric factory at the punter position, as Pat McAfee would say, for the brand. So shout out Squidward Tentacles. I like that comment.
Love it. All right, so I'm on the clock here at pick number 69. I've got 2 picks. I'm just going to go with the best pass rusher, a natural pass rusher, and that is Drake Jackson, edge out of USC. Just going to keep adding to my Eagles defensive line here. We're rolling here to pick number 83, and that'll end my 3-round mock draft. I'm not sure. I do want to see who's being taken and stuff. And I'm just going to go with Greg Dulcich out of UCLA, a tight end who I think is really talented, a really good tight end prospect. More of an receiver kind of tight end, but I think he'll fit right in with the Philadelphia Eagles, making those tough catches. He's got some underrated athleticism. You can get up and catch it, man. Just make sure you go check out Greg Dulcich. I did a tight end breakdown, and he was on my list. I think I had him number 3 or 4. Just a really interesting prospect for sure. So here is my mock. I've got a lot of picks. I traded with the Jets for a ton of picks, and we have Jameson Williams at pick 15, Devin Lloyd 19, Jaquan Brisker 35, Roger McCreary 38, DeMarvin Leal 51, Drake Jackson 69, and Greg Dulcich 83. This is definitely my most different mock that I've done. And I'm happy for it because I get kind of tired of doing a lot of the same picks over and over and over again. But Jameson Williams, I think, will definitely add some dynamic playmaking to this Eagles offense, which they absolutely need. And then I've got Devin Lloyd, who's a stud. Jaquan Brisker in the box against the run is elite. I think he adds a new dimension to this Eagles defensive backfield. Roger McCreary is more of a versatile guy. He thrives in man coverage. He can also thrive in zone. Very good kind of can play versatility. He can play in the slot, play on the outside. DeMarvin Leal is more of a pass rushing, I think, interior defensive lineman. Tons of talent. Just needs to kind of untap that. It might take a few seasons, but the potential is there. Drake Jackson's just a natural pass rusher. Very good talent. And Greg Dulcich is also another very good talent. So that is my mock, 3-round mock. We Eagles have a lot of holes. We're filling in a lot of holes with this 3-round. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks in the first 3 rounds.
The Eagles had a lot of holes, and we filled them all in 3 rounds.
Oh, man. All right. Let's wrap it up. Shane, where can we find you, man? What do you got going on?
You can find me on Twitter at @halfandhalf_TPL. My DMs are always open. Hit me up if you guys got questions, if you've got things you want to see on YouTube, Twitter, whatever. I'm all ears, especially once the draft is over. I'm going to be looking for content. I've got some ideas, so throw some stuff out there. You can check out Chalk Talk live streams on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. It goes into Apple Podcasts later. We're actually going to be doing a podcast tomorrow, the 3 of us, with our top 5 safety rankings. So if you want to learn more about the safety class, come check that out. There's a lot of day 2 value guys that the Eagles could potentially select, and we're going to break that all down tomorrow. Time to be announced.
Yeah, I think the safeties are going to just have a run in that second round. There's really good talent there. What about you, Mark? Can you even recap what you got going on right now?
Too much. I'm drowning. But I if you guys want to help me decide who to rank second between Daxton Hill and Jaquan Brisker, reach out to me at @MarkHenry Jr. I can't
open fast. I need time to make a graphic.
Seriously, I need to do some safety research as soon as I get off this podcast. While the Sixers make me stay up late and drink some Red Bull at 10 o'clock. So, keep it. I just completely lost my train of thought. Follow me at @MarkHenry Jr. Follow at Fox PHL Gambler. Listen to me on Saturdays 11 to 1 on iHeartRadio on Fox PHL The Gambler. I talk about sports on there. I talk about gambling on there. I'm red hot right now. I'll have a podcast tomorrow. I think I'll have a tough cover podcast to talk about Sweet 16.
Yeah,
I think.
If you guys want to win some money, follow Mark at @MarkHenry Jr. _ and check out his show at Fox Sports The Gambler. I just dropped my sleeper. Top sleepers in the draft video yesterday or Monday. I don't even know what day it is anymore. I have a sick 2-year-old. It's all meshing together. But guys, thank you everyone for watching. Smash that subscribe button if you love the NFL draft. I'm sure we'll be doing a lot more of these moving forward. We actually did one last Thursday. So just always fun. So this mock didn't go at all as I wanted. But that's kind of how it is. That's how it rolls sometimes. So again, follow Shane on Twitter at @halfandhalf_TPL, and he is Mark at @MarkHenry Jr. For Shane, for Mark, for myself, stay awesome, everyone.
Third down. Hurts keeps. Hurts cuts. Hurts has the first down.
Philadelphia Eagles select VIII Smith, wide receiver, Alabama.